Hey there, welcome to Hashtag with Nabuguzi. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself, even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I am your host, Nabuguzi, a lawyer, founder, team lead of Equate Foundation, an addict and lover of insightful conversations, and a professional unraveler of social constructs. Lus ThePoet accepted to hang out with us today. He is a creative artist, a poet, of course, a poet. Lus ThePoet. He is a poet and founder of Lus and the Band. I got to know about him last year. I have watched him perform. I have witnessed him organizing various events, but this conversation marks the first time I really got to sit down with him and have a deeper understanding of who Lus is. The conversation was all about humor and banter until it came to my knowledge that a poem of his that has since stayed on my mind was not just a random creation, but rather Lus's personal experience with domestic violence. We talked about his experience with domestic violence, brokenness, and its effects. We also talked about his views on love, and much as we did not agree on some of his ideas on love, I really cannot wait for you to hang out with him. So without further ado, let's get into it. Lus ThePoet, welcome to Hashtag with Nabuguzi.
Thank you for having me. Finally, it has happened.
What do you mean, finally?
Oh man, we have hustled to reach here.
What do you...
You know this.
Yeah, troubles. We need a studio.
Yeah, you do.
We need a studio to make this so... Organize one. Organize one.
I'll produce it. I have a production team. I'll produce it.
Guys, we are going to come up with a car wash. We are going to fundraise for my studio. Lus ThePoet is going to produce it. Demand him. Demand him.
It's so sad. So sad.
So help us understand who Lus ThePoet is.
Lus ThePoet is a creative artist. I venture in performance arts. When I say performance arts, I mean the underground arts.
What is underground arts?
Underground is the arts that are not in the mainstream. You won't see us like where you see those of Pixar Maker and all those. You won't be on world tours, but somewhere.
Can you do the tours?
I can do. I've done tours before.
Tell me about that.
I did school tours. I did regional tours. Then I crossed the border to just Juba there, 2019. Yeah,
2019.
Those are tours to me. Humble.
We're not saying, they're not just to you. I don't think everyone is doing the same thing.
No, it's a few of us.
It's a few of you.
Yeah, we've been lucky to have that kind of team that can put all this together. Because you can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Lus, surely, the very first time I heard the name, I was like, Easy Louis. Lus. And when you were performing, I was like, let me just make fun of the name Lucy.
Yeah, you are that voice. Eh? I've heard you a lot of times.
Lucy.
Lus is an actual name, by the way. It means light. The full name is Lus Aziz Ali Fadul. I'm a Nubian.
Nubian. Help us understand, where do the Nubians come from?
We come from apparently Sudan. We are an intermarriage of Sudanese and either Egyptians or Arabs, one of the two. I'm not quite sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you didn't get into an interest of finding out where you come from?
I've had those phases, but they don't last for long. Yeah, because the background of the Fadul family is also intense.
Oh yeah?
It's very complicated. You can't process it.
But you were born and raised here?
Yes.
What did you want to be growing up?
Michael Jackson. As brutal as that, yeah.
How old are we looking at?
He was such an icon that I thought Michael Jackson was like a specific job that you had to perform. Like I see being a James Bond. So I thought that was it, and I wanted to be Michael Jackson so bad. I had this costume at 7. I think I was 7. I had Michael Jackson's costume.
And
it wasn't as nice, but
did your parents know that this was
my
your dream?
mom, yeah, my mom knew. She used to buy me CDs of his music.
Wow!
Yeah.
And she was hyping you, telling you that you can actually be Michael
trust
Jackson.
me,
Can you dance?
No, unfortunately, you know.
So what part of Michael Jackson did you want to be?
I loved his choreography, and then,
But then you couldn't
I'm a dark
dance.
child, so I like the horror movies in
I was going to-
videos. I enjoyed them. They never terrified me. I enjoyed them. Him turning into all these dead
Thriller
bodies.
had me running away from TV all the
It
time.
had me forcing people to keep the TV on, literally all the time, and I cried when he died so much.
Yeah.
Like as if, like I cried like I just burnt my body or something.
I do understand that, baby,
Yeah.
because we sort of create attachments with the people or figures that we
Yes,
look up to.
very much.
So this is a dream that you kept to that time?
Until I was 11.
So wait, the time
And
he
then
died you were
Justin Bieber
11?
came in.
Wait, the
No.
time he died you were 11?
No, I wasn't. But then I got over him then, and then I had Justin Bieber then.
Can you be like, what? Underage.
So I had JB, and then JB became, he was alive. So, and then I don't know what was my. I don't remember my transition after JB. I think I just got over all these people.
So you were just inclined to performances.
Yeah, I loved famous people. I never want to be famous at
But-
all. It's very hectic, but I loved famous people. Like,
What was it that you loved about them if you didn't want to be famous?
I thought it was easy. I thought the pressure was a myth. Like, I would see them happy all the time, and me seeing people happy is like my best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can get so depressed if someone I am attached to is not happy. Very, very.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have sympathy pain. That's what they call them.
Sympathy?
Pains, like
Sympathy pains.
like when you hurt and I care about you, I hurt even the more. So whenever I'm kinetic basically. So they made me so happy. And then, the lyrics, of course. I've always liked words. So the lyrics were insane, and I was like, yeah. I tried to do his hairstyle once. I messed my hair just for JB. Yeah, and then
Did that require you to relax your hair?
yes,
So you
without my
relaxed
mom's
it.
consent. Because she used to let me grow the hair, but then I relaxed it with a very stubborn cousin of mine.
Oh my god.
And it was insane. So I go back and then they're like, there's some videos about Zungu. So I didn't even know the difference then. So now I had to go into the whole races thing. I'm like, Abazungu, and what's that supposed to mean?
How old were you when you decided to do that?
I think I was 14.
And you were still largely influenced by these people.
I was innocent for a very long time of my life.
Or you're no longer innocent.
No. These Ugandans take it away.
So we're looking at you interested in famous people. We're looking at them in the music industry. Is it something that you wanted to do? Did you
No,
want to sing?
I used to read their lyrics more than listen to the music.
Read lyrics?
Yeah, I would read song lyrics, like literally a lot, and watch lyrical videos.
So it was not that you were singing.
It wasn't the sound in the background, it was the words.
So for you in your world right now, are you looking at these people as phenomenal writers?
I think Ed Sheeran is phenomenal.
He is good.
Yeah.
He is
And
good.
I think Sam Smith, if he writes for himself, incredible. I know Adele wrote a recent album, so insane. But it broke my heart when I found out Michael Jackson did not
she's
write
a
most
breakup.
of his songs.
Oh yeah.
But I still love that he delivered.
So you've loved words from childhood? Is that something
Yes,
that
I have. They have
safely
always
say?
made sense to me. Yeah, my mom was a writer herself.
She was.
Yeah. So I think the genes really followed up. A little too early for me, but still. Yeah.
And what do you do now?
Now I do poetry. I sell it, I produce it, I coach it. I venture in anything poetry.
Anything poetry?
Yeah. It's crazy how much you can do with
How long have you
poetry.
been doing poetry? Where did you
Since-
pick the interest from?
Since 2016. I picked the interest from
2016 is close to 6 years ago.
Yeah. I picked interest. I don't even know exactly when.
Yeah.
But it's something that built up after I'd lost my mom, and I was trying to, when you're grieving and you're trying to find that the most recent attachment. Then I would write poems. I wrote her so many dead people poems, like so many. And then I didn't even know there were poems by then. Until
in 2016.
Until a relative read them and she actually said they were poems. I was like, poems? What's up? It's a poem.
How old were you 6 years ago?
Oh my God. I was a child. I was just 18. I was actually going to make 18.
You're going to make 18?
Yeah. I was going to make 18. And that's when life really, became more clear.
So there wasn't a moment for you, I'm sorry for your mother's passing, there wasn't a moment for you in school that made you aware of the existence of poems?
No, not in the school. I went to ISU, so it's like you don't really study the entire International School of Uganda. It's in Luvoa. So you don't study
I've
like
heard of
16.
KISU, I think, Kampala International School of Uganda, something like that.
ISU then, there's ISU, ISU.
Okay.
So like there you don't study the entire thing. Like you don't study 16 subjects and stuff.
What do they do?
They keep choosing the subjects you do better in year after year, grade after grade. So by the time you reach like the 8th grade, you like have like very few subjects. Sometimes you're doing full sciences.
8th grade is like which class? Normal.
I can't even tell.
Is that like S1?
So we have up to grade 12. So 8th grade is like Form 3. I don't know. It's confusing when you convert it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a bit different because you do the IB program. It was broad, but also not bulky. Not like doing physics and this and like you focus on really like about 3 or 4 subjects and then just broaden them into sub study. So there was nothing like studying poetry because I was good at sciences.
Nothing like literature either?
There was literature, but I was good at sciences, so they kept choosing for me like
Whoa, they don't even
things.
ask you?
No, they don't ask you, but apparently it works for you. Like it actually does work for you. It did. I passed with flying colors.
It's not about the
I never
passing
studied
now.
literature.
No, it's not. We're now aware
Right now,
that
right
the
now it
education
doesn't.
system
But
is not about.
I did get a. I did get a. I don't know if it's a diploma or what, but I got the certificate.
Yeah.
In something to do with psychology. Yeah, like I'm very good with like blending in with people's characters. I like the human brain so much. It's so easy to brainwash.
Not everyone. Not everyone. Okay. Not everyone. So here you are grieving the passing of your mother.
Yeah.
You're writing, and then your relative tells you there's a poem. What happened to you in that moment?
I wasn't sure what it meant.
Poems itself?
Poems. I wasn't sure what it made me, if I come up with poems, I wonder why. So I tell a friend, she was called Gabi, Adrina Gabi, I'm like, I want to be a poet. And then she's like, really, I know a poet. I'm like, there are poets in Uganda? She's like, yeah. And then she sends me Bash Mutumba's number. And then I call that guy, and the guy, I was very fortunate. That very week there was a kelele happening. Yeah. They were celebrating 1 year. So he invites me, and then I get to see the actual poets. Oh, these guys were good. The Wakes, the Heights of Preacher, Davis.
Wake is king.
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah. And then Zombie. Zombie was my favorite. It was insane. If you never encountered Zombie, trust me, you need to summon. You need to summon Zombie. Like, so I watched these guys and then I saw a whole different picture. I realized that poetry can actually be about something other than death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Other than death.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I was more interested in the love poetry at first. So I wrote a lot of love poems. I wasn't even in love. But I wrote a lot.
What were they mostly performing about when you watched their first performances?
All of them apart from Zombie, it was love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Zombie that promoted.
That's why it influenced you.
It was political.
That's why it influenced you.
Yeah, because I like the people who stand out so much. I like people who stand out. Even in the weird or negative ways, I still notice you more. Because you're standing out. And
you've always one of those famous people.
Right?
Watching Thriller.
So
really?
Yeah, I've been like
too
that.
Bad for a kid.
Yeah, it must be the traumas.
Oh, come on.
But then there you are, almost making 18. You are meeting poets, and you're saying, okay, there is such thing as poems, and I'm doing it, and someone is already saying that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
What is it? Something that you felt like this is what I want to be
Immediately,
but okay, because I'm now looking at the society we come from or we live in prescribes that thing that you want to be should fetch you money.
Now,
did that ever
that
ever
came
register?
to me like 2 years after, and my uncle was like, "So what's the plan? You're 20." I'm like, poetry, and I was like, "No way, you're not." Actually, that was before I was 20. Like I was 19, I was almost 20, and I'm telling him about poetry, and he's like, "Because these are rich men, like they're in the army and they're getting all this money," and his experience were like, "I'm gonna be, joining the army." Because that's what everyone does in our family.
Oh, yeah?
And then I'm like, yeah, poetry. Is like, you're a weakling. What's poetry? You talk, people don't even respond to you, blah, blah, blah.
You talk and people don't respond to you.
Yeah, and it bothers him. He thinks it's a stupid thing. So I'm like, poetry will do everything for me.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's like, get out of my house if you're doing poetry. And
Whoa.
I actually did. Like, I don't know why I never doubted poetry. I thought, like, this can be interesting. You just have to do it in a certain way that I didn't figure out by then, but I was confident there's a way. So it was very complicated. Home became so depressing.
You walked away.
Yeah, I walked away.
Where did you go?
No, I was like, I had no plan, but I knew that I was supposed to choose poetry. So a friend of mine had a current in the ghetto of Machindi that she even never used to stay herself. But I stayed there. It was very terrifying. The bathrooms. I used to take a judge from that rental to the National Theatre just to take a shower so I can come back and just sleep. Like, it was so deadly. And then there was this
Which year are we looking at? Is that like 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
This is so recent.
Very recent.
You know, when we hear such stories, they're like, no, it's the 1990s.
Right? So in the bathroom, there was this guy who used to spend his night, like, would sleep in the bathroom. Would come, I don't know if he was a madman or what. So I stopped using them completely because now it was someone's home. So it was funny. I was there for a month and a half, and then a friend of mine took me to a hostel in Mukono, Mary Bad. That's when I was so depressed. I did so many bad decisions while in Machinje. The influence was, even my focus was not good. Kage used to have to like argue with me about focus all the time. He never knew what was going on. Yeah, because I was with Star Nation by then. Because I wouldn't tell my whole story. I am very private until I'm over something. I can't talk until I'm over it.
Until you're over it.
Yeah, like completely.
Why is it that?
I don't know. It's the only way I cope. So he was like, Lus, you're so talented, but you're not focused. What's wrong? And for him, he doesn't like people who mess with art. He's very passionate to that extent.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
So I would just smile and take beer, and I would get like high on one bottle because my head is so weak. And then he's like, you should even leave alcohol for a while, leave women for a while, just focus. And then when I went to Mukono, the environment was different. Maribel's sister Jela was very prayerful and supportive, and she believed in us. So I transformed and started focusing, and things got so much better. Like, in a glimpse, I was at Baimba, then KITF, and then I was...
Was that because of prayer? Because you've talked about the person being prayerful and believing in you?
I think Jela's motivation and prayer really contributed. Sometimes it was the only thing that she could do, and me being too broken, I was like, try that before, it doesn't work. But then it worked, because there's something about someone praying for you that makes you believe more than your own prayer. Like when someone says I'm praying for you, I feel comforted, even when they're not really. My faith is like, that's the channel of my faith, because I know I don't know how to pray, properly. So I trust that person has said the right words.
Yeah.
Angela had so many channels to her God, and me, all I had to do is do what I know how to do, focus and think, how can I be better than the person next to me? I'm very competitive, subconsciously, very competitive. When I see a good poem, I go back home and write a better one. I'm that competitive.
But who determines that?
I think it's a gene I got from my mom.
Who determines that the poem
good
is
poem?
better?
The audience.
Oh, come on.
The audience.
They might love them both.
Be like, no, I've had people who have come complain like, I went to this show, I performed a really good poem. They're like, hey, like someone walks up and be like, oh, your poem is good, but do you know Lus ThePoet? I'm like, yeah. So
Do they tell you that they say that?
Yeah. And they're
Maybe
like,
they're
I don't
telling
like
lies.
it. I have a friend of mine who complains a lot. Every time she's like, you go away. You steal our shine. But I know because it's intentional. Like, okay, I learned it from someone too, who I won't mention. But it drives you.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary. It drives you. I wouldn't be comfortable. Like, for example, if I move around with a taller person, I don't like it. Now I'm short. Because you're taller.
But you can't be the same.
I know, but I would like to be above.
So now I'm bigger than you. What are you going to do?
Nah, that is okay. Just don't be taller. Just don't be taller. That's okay.
Well, I could be taller. We'll determine that.
I've measured.
Doesn't that sort of make you feel like you're insecure?
I am, and it's okay.
What do you mean I know it's okay?
It's okay because I don't know why people, the reason why insecurities get toxic is because we try to feel bad about it. If you don't like your eyebrows, then you don't like your eyebrows. So what?
So you draw them?
And if you're a man and you can't draw them, then live with what you have. I don't like mine. They're like almost none there.
They're there.
Except,
how much do you need?
A little more.
Competition again.
But the thing is, I'm insecure about like height, so I will never stand for too long. Someone is, taller. I don't like to stand next to a very dark-skinned man because I've always wanted that melanin and I don't have it, and I know women like it. So let's not be friends, please. So same with poetry. If your poetry is too good, I'm heading back home to write better poetry. And yes, that's just how I roll. Anyway, now it's less because it's been long since I last met a better poet.
You are too vain.
Yeah. It's been very long. All the good ones are kind of went to rest. I don't know what they're doing, and I hope they stay rested.
Oh my goodness!
But that's just really how I've been coping.
Recently, you performed a poem. I don't know if it's new.
It's new actually. Yeah.
You performed a poem that I don't know. It did things to me, I would say. Let people not misconstrue this.
It spoke to you.
Thank you so much. It did speak to me. It didn't do stuff to me. So
that's possible too. But in this case, it just spoke.
It did speak to me. There's no way it would have done stuff to me. You talked about a grandmother accusing your grandfather for cheating on her, and you went on to dig into the history of their relationship, where they had come from. Can you just a small a cappella, possibly something that can come to your mind or your spirit at this moment? Just something small.
Okay, I think the best glimpse of that poem is the actual beginning.
The actual beginning.
Yeah, the middle is really jumbled. It's before I even do it, this poem is actually a true story.
Whoa!
Except it was mother to father, not grandmother. I did grandmother so I don't have to cry on stage, which happened only once, but people tend to not forget it. These people, but yeah, it's like something I experienced growing up. It led to so many traumas, but I have worked through them and found a way to write it down. Funny, it happened years ago, and I just got to write it last year doing a partnership with Baton Poetry.
Years ago, before you were an adult?
I was like 7 when I first saw anything to do with my mom being mistreated. And it went on until the time I last remember seeing her. Literally led to her death. So when I used to write about it, I felt like people won't get it. But the more I've learned, more skillful writing, I've learned that you don't have to always be straight to the story. You can use symbols, you can use characters, you know, the story can be told in so many other angles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes like, every night at the dinner table, a grandmother accuses a grandfather of cheating on her. Now the grandfather is 83 years old, so he says to the grandmother, "Woman, how am I going to cheat on you if I have to pee every 5 seconds?" The whole family laughs and chalks it up to one of the grandmother's crazy antics. Every night at the dinner table, my grandmother keeps accusing my grandfather of cheating on her. Now, I don't know if these are hallucinations or flashbacks, but 40 years ago, these were current events when the grandfather was young enough to leave his wedding vows on countless bed sheets. He did what any man was supposed to do back then: cheat, but come home afterwards. Cheat, but leave no trace of another woman's perfume. However, a wife always knows when someone else's sweat is mixed in with her husband. My grandmother never really got over sharing her husband. 40 years later, these women still live inside of her. Keeps going on. So in the writing, I just made it sound like, you know, a bonfire story, you know. But that poem is special. I've performed it thrice.
I've only watched it twice.
Yeah, only thrice. And each time I've performed it, there's a way people access it in a very different way.
How exactly?
Like, someone always relates. It's like it's been happening to more than just, you know, a few. And I feel like I'm late, you know. I should have written this years ago. Should have come up with a campaign even. It's crazy what a poem can become once you start, you know, sharing it. And this poem, I always hesitate. Yesterday at the show, I had refused to do it.
Why?
I kept telling the guys that this audience, it doesn't deserve this poem. Because they were noisy, you know, they were like the theater people, they were so noisy.
Really loud.
And I was like, no, I don't want
loud.
them to get it. But they were like, we need time, we need to buy the time, we need that time, we need you on stage for that time. So I had to do it beside my other performance, the original that I was supposed to do instead. And during the performance, I realized that there were these women I kept seeing in the audience who were actually relating, and it's like I was telling their story from A to Z, and I was like, I should never ever refuse to do this poem. So it's very relatable even to other people, which makes me feel better.
There's something about, because now for me, when you got to that moment of talking about a woman always knows when another woman's sweat is mixed with her husband's, it goes to the place of intuition that is usually attributed to the women.
Yeah.
They always find out. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. How do you guys do it? How do you catch us?
How do you catch us?
How?
Why are you including yourself? You say poets don't cheat.
We don't. We don't.
You just saying, how do you catch us?
For my other boys.
How do you catch them? You say, how do you catch them?
How do you catch these other boys? It's insane.
I can't explain it either.
It's insane. She can know when you're lying. She can know when your phone has something.
So when you first wrote it down, and you're saying that it is something that you experienced as a child, at the age of 7 until she passed on, that's like 18? Almost 18. Are we looking at close to 7 years of you experiencing this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was, you know, the funny thing about Africa or Uganda is that it's normal for a woman to get beaten, but only by society. It's not normal for the child who is watching, because I'm new to this society and I don't want to see my mom in pain. You know, or anyone. I used to cry when people cried around me. I only attended one funeral as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I was that kid. I didn't like people crying because I would cry even more. So my mom would never take me anywhere again. You know, when my granny died, I never attended. There's so many people, and now I had to be home almost every night, hearing her screaming. And by the time she screams, she has tried not to scream for such a long time. So it means the pain is intense. And
With
the more
your
you
mother.
grow, and the more I grew, the worse it got. She sends you to bed with a very normal eye, and in the morning it's black, and you're wondering why is he hurting her again, and it's always a drunk father,
Oh yeah.
always an angry father, and it was never normal, and it was very traumatizing, because when your mother is hopeless, then you're even more vulnerable, and by the time I don't feel safe at 7, then
7 is early.
yeah, at 7 I should be caring about cartoons, but
Not your safety, not your
Right?
mother's safety.
Right.
It's like you.
So it was insane. So when I wrote that poem down, because they gave me an assignment to write a full script and title it Minds, and I had to choose anything. So,
Whatever visits your mind.
yeah, so I realized that all the people I care about have been broken only and only by love. They have been hurt by the poor they're only trying to love, including
Yeah.
myself. Some 2019 there, I was in love and pow, my heart was broken.
Yeah.
So I was like, love is a funny thing. It breaks you.
Yeah.
So when I started
yeah,
writing, I started writing. I realized that the channel is not too far.
Do you feel like love is excruciating?
It is, and yet necessary.
Because why I got to ask that is, we have you starting for the beat of my grandmother, and then going
Transition.
to love is a funny thing.
that makes people laugh. I don't know why.
It is
supposed to be
like
sad.
it's so much relatable because you imagine totally different things
Yeah.
and you just find a completely different. So you're like, okay. So do you
in
feel
my
like
opinion, love is two-faced.
in what
it has
sense?
this really good face. Everything is nice. It's just roses.
Is it
and
imaginative
dinners.
or reality?
No, it's a reality. Feeling love is beautiful.
It is really
It's
beautiful.
beautiful. You think nothing can hurt you. You think you're the happiest person in the world. Until love starts to be funny. and then it's ugly and you're praying to God, I swear if I get over this one,
Yeah.
not again. And it's a cycle, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. Like this part where I say, I gave love the keys to my heart and she locked me out of it. And she
Wait. You know what that communicated to me was that we lose ourselves to people.
Exactly.
To a point that we cannot recognize ourselves because we understand love to you just get intertwined into the person to a point of the other person.
Like without them you can't define yourself anymore.
And they're actually thriving. I think what we do with ourselves is, I don't know, are we the tendrils going around the tree, and then when they just walk away we're collapsing, we cannot manage
when the branch is gone.
I feel like people lose their identity.
Yeah.
They start identifying with that particular person that they're in love with, to a point that if they don't eat pork, I'm not eating pork.
Yeah.
If they love going to the theater, if they love
I love going to the
poetry,
theater. I've made women come to
I'm
the
going to
theater for the first time of their life.
no, it's okay for you to figure out the things that the other person is interested
but
in.
at your own accord, you know.
But not to a point of I have to be this because my person is this.
Yeah.
What do you stand
You
for?
know, compromise has not been defined in relationships. It has become a must. Compromise should be only the things I'm willing to compromise. You know, for
What
example,
is that like?
me, I don't like closed shoes all the time. I don't like them. I love my feet. I have beautiful feet.
So for you,
Yeah.
What are you saying? But you think for us to wear closed shoes don't have beautiful feet?
You know you do, but maybe you don't like yours the way I like mine. So you meet
Put
this girl who is like, you're going to come, but please put on the shoes that I got you. And I'm like, I love the shoes. I love the idea that you got me the shoes, but
When are you going to wear them?
well, on a very, very special occasion, like me stepping on stage, and I'll be recorded and people could talk if I don't wear the shoes. But if I'm meeting you at your home or hostel, or please, I would love to be casual because I've been wearing these shoes in every meeting this week. And there are women who are like, I don't want to see your feet. They're like, don't look down there.
That means they're not beautiful.
No, they just have that funny thing of a man's feet should not be out.
A man's feet should not be out? There is such thing?
Yes. Oh, you have no idea. Then these were like, you know,
a man's feet should not be out? Then why do they have open shoes?
I don't know. You know, it's weird. Humans.
Which one are you hanging out with?
I've dated 3 of those.
And they're saying that?
They don't like a man's feet.
That means your feet are not beautiful, Luz.
You want to see my feet? They look awesome. I have my mama's feet. But, you know, these women didn't like to see their feet out. And for them, they never
So what
did.
does compromise look like?
Compromise is when I realize that the person I'm dating does not like it if I drink irresponsibly, and I adjust. Because I'm becoming a better person because of you. That's what love should make me, better, not worse, you know. And now that's compromise, because you already know you have to work on yourself before even this person comes into your life. So them being a motivation for you to actually do it now, that's love. But if I have to kill my happiness for your comfort, then please be uncomfortable.
Kill my happiness.
I cannot kill my happiness. It's very mortal, you know. Happiness is very mortal. It dies at any point. And most people kill their happiness for these people. I've seen people stop doing things they actually love.
That part.
To just stay in a relationship.
That part where you say you're locking me out of my heart.
It locked me out of it, changed the locks.
You can't access yourself because you cannot even identify who you are.
Like, I was in a very toxic one just a year ago. That poem was literally written a year ago specifically for that relationship. And Kenneth knew about it. So after the poem, he was like, they broke you very well. You sounded really broken. I just walked away. Because it was...
Kenneth can be nonsensical.
He's very, very, very sarcastic. He doesn't know when to do it. He does it all the time. It was insane.
Yeah.
But all I know is that relationships...
So because of your experience we're looking at you experiencing love between your parents, and then you coming to a place of experiencing a toxic relationship, are you the kinds of people that would go as far as talking about love being, what do they say? Love is what? What do they say? Do they say trash? What do they say?
Love is trash, deadly, unnecessary.
Love is scam.
It's a scam.
Love is a scam. Relationship is a scam. Love is a scam. Which one is it?
Men are scam. It's mostly about us. we ruin this.
Women are scam, something like that. Do you go to those extremes? Do you start feeling like...
Actually, I believe in romance. It's the people that I don't believe. It's the lovers that I don't believe that I can go hard on. But lovers love. It's still beautiful.
Yeah.
So I can never. It's not a scam.
It is not a scam.
It is not. It's the lovers. You know. It's like politics is a very beautiful thing. It's a good system. It's the politicians. Same as love.
The people that play.
Exactly.
The players in the game.
Yeah, the game is beautiful. It's the players that, break the rules.
Yeah.
And then, we just misplace the anger. But the people should just pull up their socks, check yourself one by one. That's self-talk now. Check yourself, Luz. It's because I've also done mistakes, really. But I was 16 though, so.
16?
Yeah, 16 you can get away with it.
It's a long time.
But why are you 20 and then you're breaking someone's heart?
It happens.
How? Why are you lying about your heart 20? You don't know where you are. Why are you like deleting chats, doing all looking for network when they call you? Why are they even calling you when you're with your man? Like, you're 20.
What do you mean? Why are they calling you when you're with your man?
No, there are some things that are principle. Like,
but I don't have control who is calling me at this time.
Trust me, I am a busy person, like weirdly busy. But if I'm with my person, I can't pick you up.
Oh, you can't pick?
Nope. And if I do, I speak in loudspeaker, like you're in loudspeaker.
Whoa, why?
Transparency. Other women love it.
That's
Now you're shady. You're very shady.
I'm not, but there is a place of privacy as well, because
Privacy is the root cause of all evil in love.
no,
You see, the more privacy you ask for, the more I'm not going to trust you.
but no, someone
you
can trust
private
you.
about
Someone
a
can
phone
trust
call?
you without putting the phone on loudspeaker. Someone
Okay.
can trust you without putting a phone on loudspeaker, Luz.
People go extreme. It's not on loud, and then you also walk away. I already can't hear anything. Stay.
Well, the responses.
You see now? You see? That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like creepy what lovers do, you know, to tarnish the name of love. But at the end of the day, we end up.
Honestly, I don't know.
Thing.
I don't know why I don't. I've not really had that. I've not found it problematic because I can.
How have you loved?
I have. Hey, what are you talking about? What are you
But the
talking
phone
about?
calls don't bother you. It must be nice. That's all I can say. It must be nice. Because me,
No,
actually, I hate
I've
the
not.
phone
Maybe
in
I've not seen
relationships.
shady phone calls.
Have
Like
you-
I've not
have you
really
paid
experienced
attention?
them. But I know how to see messages.
Yeah,
Like-
we all do. All do.
Like there's a guy that I was dating and he was texting and I was also holding my phone like this, but I saw, you know. And I was reciting his messages. Yeah.
Aye.
I was like, how did you see that? I was like, first wives always know.
My wife always knows. but you see now, those are things that we do consciously.
No, but then sometimes you can tell. Something can be fishy. You can smell the air.
Now me,
And
I'm
you're
not
like,
naive at all.
something
I
is
can
not
tell.
right.
I can even tell before I date you that you would be capable of this stuff.
Yeah. You
So-
could be wrong.
In most cases, actually, all the bad experiences I've had,
You're forcing them.
it's been by choice. I knew what I was
Most times we
going
know.
into. I was just like,
Most times we
she's
know.
beautiful. I'll change her. You know that change her
Hey,
gig?
I'll change
Hey,
her.
it never goes well, but we take the risk because
No.
we're entrepreneurs. Risks are normal. Risk in business, you take the risk.
What does that feel like? So if you knew already, what does that feel like when
The thing is-
it's done?
Yeah, you have the idea of how bad it can get.
Yeah.
It's not the whole picture. So the whole picture is what breaks you. You're like, ho. She can also deny you apart from cheating. Like, okay. Now that's the side of the hustle I didn't see. And then you're broken. But one thing about me is that in most cases I've not projected the pain to other people.
Wow, I want to shake your hand. Like
have
it's
not.
so important
Yeah.
because I've seen so many people talking about things like marriage is a scam, love is a scam. Just because you had terrible
Yeah.
experiences
The
does
people
not
actually
mean
are having it beautiful out there.
because that it shouldn't. I'm really scared of ever getting into a relationship carrying my past into it, because for me I cannot experience you. I'm still looking at
Exactly.
the other person. I'm still reflecting or projecting the other person on you.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was arguing with someone on Facebook. They were saying that broken people break people, and I was like, no, they don't. You know,
They actually do.
No, they don't. You see, different souls. The good souls can gulp pain and prevent others from tasting it. Like, these are broken souls that, like, my mom never hit me because she was hit. She never hit anyone in my presence, really. I don't even know if she ever hit anyone. Like, they don't always break people. She got other lovers that she never actually did any funny things to. It's possible. They're poor, like, just meant to be good.
but I think I also feel like there is a possibility of someone being able to compartmentalize. That word plays me a lot.
Why do you use it?
Compartmentalize because it's the only one that I know. I don't know if synonym exists. Compartmentalize. I feel like there are people that can put in different compartments. Like I experienced this, but I can also show up for this, and then the kind of thing. But then there is also a moment when pain consumes the person.
That's when you have
and
to
they
stay away
cannot,
for a bit.
they cannot come to a place of even recognizing themselves. This is where we're coming to, as far as being locked out of your own heart. You cannot even love yourself to a point that you can't even see or absorb the love that comes to you.
Exactly. Yes, that's called self-sabotaging.
Self-sabotage.
In therapy, You self-sabotage, whereby if someone better comes, you don't find them interesting because you're used to the bad guys.
That is, it's patterns.
You don't, the ones who are like always calling, are like, why is he calling? You don't. It's not normal. You say this guy is weird. He's always texting and checking on me.
Weakling.
Yeah. I have a best friend who actually doesn't find that as care. She finds it weird. She says, "Let us speed ninja." And I'm like, man, you want the ones who check on you like in the morning and then until the next morning you don't hear from them. And
at some point it's boring, I think.
And I've met very many people that are in the same, angle.
There's so much. I feel like there is so much of us that are broken.
Yeah.
We've experienced these cycles. So the patterns that we know that are common for us, we don't know that.
I don't know. I've been lucky. The patterns don't work with me. If you come with speed, we go with speed. If your speed is little, I'm kinetic. Like I said in the beginning, I'm very kinetic. I can blend in immediately. I'm Mr. Right everywhere I go. I'm exactly what you're looking for.
Chameleon.
So, because I feel like everyone could be, but it's just that we have these emotional principles of, if he wants me to give it up on the first date, then that one is not my kind. And then the people are like, if he delays to pick up, it's another girl. If he declines my video call, it's another girl. I'm like, what if I don't like video calls, like it's so many emotional principles. But me, if I meet someone who likes video calls, we'll video call all day. I'll buy data. Wherever I am, we'll video call. I feel like it's
so what
fun.
defines you? Just something
the
that
other person. I like it if they see I can do these things, not because I enjoy them, but because you enjoy them. Because then it's easier for someone to reciprocate if you're not being too hesitant. But if you're being too hesitant, like if I love live band, and I'm like, honey, I want to take you for live band sometime. Like, I don't like it. Just give it a try.
But if I don't like it, let me tell you something that happened to me. An hour is long. You see?
Now you see.
Let me tell you why I have a problem with that kind of thing. I would love for someone to love me in my space, I think.
Now you see, we can't date. It can't be a relationship with only about your space.
No, even the other person's space I can reciprocate that, because personally I don't understand flowers. I just don't.
You remind me of someone.
I do not understand flowers, so I still sometimes when I'm sort of in relationships with people, I'm like, hey, we better don't make that mistake. Because they're going to force an ow that is not ow actually. Like, what am I going to do with these things now, and then someone was telling me at some point, but me, I want to give you flowers. I was like, I don't want them. How are you giving me what I don't want?
Do you want?
And then he's like, but I want, because if I give them to you, I'll feel good. I'm like, are you serious?
They're just flowers. You can
No! And I do what with them?
Put them in water. They die in 3 days.
Are you mad? Why am
72 hours.
Why am I going to start catering for things that I'm not interested in? You understand?
Have you ever loved a song because of someone?
Huh?
Yeah.
Loved, like maybe it reminds me of a particular moment with a person.
And have you loved the song because
they love it?
Played it and they said, I love this song, you should listen to it.
So if I love it, I love it. If I don't, I don't.
You're big man. But in high school, you ever used to do those
high school, I
things,
didn't date in high
dedicate,
school.
even with a friend.
I did.
Did you ever love a song that a friend dedicated?
Did we even follow up? We didn't have music
players. The rest of us did. Who broke you very well? Because you see, it's just like that. Okay, there are some things really that people. Now you see, you don't have a reason why you don't like flowers, but you'll give this guy a hard time.
No,
for his...
I don't have time for them. Buy me pork, buy me meat, buy me food. Flowers for
He can
what?
buy you the pork and also give you the flowers.
And I
It's
do
like-
what with them? Because now see, I'm going to start carrying them and then no.
Okay, let's say you're dating
So much
someone who
work.
loves jewelry, and they just give you an anklet
That one I
or
can
a
wear.
bracelet,
I can
and you're not
wear.
a bracelet person,
Can you imagine?
but she makes this bracelet with your name on it or with her name on it,
But I think I can.
specifically for you.
It also comes from. It also it comes with the person's
I
intentions.
think if you trust the person a little
yeah.
enough, then you can receive those
give in.
flowers.
No,
You
flowers.
can receive those.
Flowers, no.
If your mommy
Flowers,
or
no.
daddy gave you flowers,
Why
you
won't
take
my mother
them.
do that?
But if she did, you take them.
She
You would.
cannot.
No, except if she did, you take them.
I would, by the way.
Exactly. Because
Because
you
she has
love
ever
her that
crafted.
much.
She has ever crafted
Yeah.
a flower for me, and I still
See.
have it. She gave it to me in my P.
So that man was just not the one.
Flowers.
If he was,
no,
you
he was
take them.
toxic. Like he was.
Thank you.
throwing-
You see?
Hey, I was like, no, I don't
That's
want.
what I told you. It's not the love. It's the
Oh.
lover. You can love flowers at any
But
point.
Hey, imagine. I know.
You can. I've loved things I never thought I would love. I never used to love going out at all. I hated the clubs and loud places. I'm like, intoxicated and broken and pretending to be happy. Why am I here?
Yeah.
And now, if I don't kusimbula the whole week, I'm not okay. And it's because of my best friend. She makes it fun. Like she makes it fun, and now I feel like even if she's not around, me being just out there in that noise, I can feel her presence.
Oh,
you
yeah?
know? Yeah. So I love it because of her. So it's the love, and this like goes on to all kinds of love.
Hey.
Because I like the way you're looking at me right now. So you can love so many things because of people. The first time I tasted mayonnaise was because of a girlfriend.
The first time you did what?
Tasted mayonnaise. I didn't like mayonnaise until 2020. I never even tasted it until 2020. And she used to just get a spoon and like take it. And she looked so cute doing it. It was also disturbing, but it was also like you choose that over everything else. So I tasted it, and now I love it.
It depends on how you tested it.
No, I did taste it from a meal that was cooked on a stove. But I loved it, and then I got the habit that she had as well.
Okay.
Taking it with a spoon.
Okay.
I still do it, even though she's away. Sometimes I believe I hate her, but I love the mayonnaise. So like it's possible.
So we give
to
her
love
credit
things.
for that.
Yeah. She made me
It's
discover the
mayonnaise.
amazing American Garden specifically. Yeah.
We usually talk about mental health on the podcast, and I think we'd want to have a glimpse of how you take care of your mental health.
Yeah. Well, it's a very selfish skill. If I like stress, if it comes to work, because it helps me produce at a good rate and better. If you pressure me into giving you the best work, then I'm going to give you the best work. If you don't, I'll be lousy. So I like that stress. I don't like the stress where everything I do is crushed, because I am a perfectionist, and if you know that a perfectionist can never just deliver. By the time I say it's ready, it's really ready. The people who have opinions against craft of my craft,
Yeah.
not because it's not good for them, but because they think it's great, but it could be greater. I don't like that. I don't care. It's great, and that's all. So how I manage that is I rant. Ranting helps me a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, ranting helps me a lot. Nothing helps me like ranting. I rant.
You let your emotions
immediately,
flow.
Yeah, I express myself immediately. I tell you what I think you shouldn't be saying to me, like, because I know a critic and I know a mockery, kind of statement.
You've come to a place of distinguishing them.
Exactly. I know when I know that the different tones and apertures.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to mock me, I know I can know it very well, and I attack immediately. That's how I cope. If I don't, then I'm gonna regret it, and it's gonna depress me.
Oh, yeah,
and I'll be less
yeah.
productive.
So
and
you
I'll be
don't-
like, what if they were right? So I attack you, and then your reaction is what determines if you're actually having some good intention. Because if you were, then you'd try to calm me down and be like,
Yeah.
Let's start again. This is what I meant. But in most cases, they just attack back and even say worse things. They're like, oh, so you're a bad mind. And then when it comes to, all writers have depression, really. Creatives actually.
Oh my
now,
god.
me, my depression.
Oh my
is
god.
very
Can
dramatic.
you not do that?
You have your depression.
Hey, what are you saying? I'm not a writer.
It takes out for a podcast.
I've denied you.
But you see, now I cope with that. I just care for other people. It heals me.
Empathy heals you.
A lot. When I'm not okay, I look for someone who is worse. That reminds me that I'm not doing that bad. So it helps me a lot. That's how I cope with my self-doubt and depression and all that. I find someone else's story and care about it, relate to a positive level, because negative stories can actually give you the most positive impact. You're thinking you're going through this and it's terrible, and then you find that someone else is really
I've
having
experienced
it
that.
harder way, and you're like,
I've
God,
experienced
thank you. Thank you, I'll go through this.
I've experienced that.
So that's how I cope with that. When it comes to relationships, I simply walk away. There are 5 billion women. You can't die. You can't die of one woman. I walk away, but of course I communicate first. I communicate a lot before I actually make a move.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. I keep telling you that we need to fix this. We need to fix this.
Yeah. And if it's not workable, then
and then if
out,
you
man.
don't think it's worth the fight, or you don't react to my communication, I walk and I can move in hours, like 12 hours, 24. I'm already literally happy. Not with someone else, but happy. I have good friends. They can really help. Like they can take you away from that mood in a second. And once I call for that emergency code, you'll just never have my attention back the same way.
Yeah,
because me and my friends, our relationship is very, very it has boundaries that are very, very healthy. When I'm meeting someone, they can't give an opinion no matter what. They let you date your person, so it's easy for me to
experience the person.
Yeah, even after the breakup, they'll never have an opinion whether they like the person. You never know if they like the person.
Well, for me at least, I have moments of thank God. Like in me, of course, on the face of it, I'm like, oh, sorry. My mind, I'm like, thank God.
It's done. It's over.
Like,
with mine, they just ask you like, are you serious with this? Because they know me. I can tend to be very unserious. So the only question I ever receive is, are you serious with this person? Because if you're serious, then they'll respect them more.
Yeah.
They'll respect them more. They'll take them, more seriously. That's when they call them our wife. Yeah. So that's how it has always been. So I get so much support from my best friends. They just do mean well. I get so much emotional support from them after breakups, because breakups really put me down. Not because I never mess up. Actually, they put me down more when I mess up, because I'm like, okay, now
there's a lot
to
now regret about.
And I get so insecure about the next person. For some reason, women think I am very nice and
You're
all
not.
these things. I am, but not to the extent that they expect. So when someone trusts me with themselves a lot, I freak out. Now I have to run to my friends so they can tell me, you got this. You can treat her better. You can.
So you don't trust yourself?
I do, but sometimes when you
feel like it's too much of a burden?
Yeah, not a burden.
A responsibility?
Yes, emotional. Like you feel like the emotions are, all on the table, and then you haven't even put yours there.
Ouch.
And they're still putting more. You're like,
oh, I think I do that.
I don't know if it bothers you, but it bothers me. Because it's so hard for me to. I can date someone for like half a year and not be in love with them.
Whoa.
And I only fall in love along the way. That's
so
how
what are you
happens.
doing before?
I'm just doing what you want. I'm saying I love you too because you love me. Yeah, I know. I hope the girl that will love me someday will not listen to this.
Hopefully.
It's only sometimes, rare times we actually fall in love at the same time. Very rare. But in most cases, I just find someone who I know is really good for me. And then I just measure up to their standard. It helps me. I focus out on being a better person in everything. As I said, I'm competitive. If you're more thoughtful and more gifting, wait for it. I'll beat you to it. It's just how I cope. I cope with the help of friends, and then I also I focus on designing a personality that can please me if I met it from another person. I don't know if people do that. When I say people think I'm lying, but it's very important to try and be a good person, because it doesn't hurt at all. It hurts more when you're a bad person.
It does.
Yeah. So I try so hard to be a good person. I can meet someone who has seen me before and I don't even know them. I have never seen them. But when they come and say, Lus, yo, what's up, guy, you're lost. And then they feel like you even know them more than they know you, and they're happy. And then you go back home and try to remember. None of these things of, pause, who are you? And then
I do that.
You're going to disappoint people. Like,
but
it's not important who they are. The thing is, they're excited to see you.
It can be confusing because you're like, okay, this person is up there and
stick to the smile.
I'm usually amazed. No, sometimes I'm usually like, where are you getting your happiness from? So I feel like, you know me? It's like, okay, how do we know each other?
People. I know
we get to have a conversation and I get to know them better.
Remember that the first time I met Kenneth, and then we had a very good conversation. That was 2017.
Yeah.
And then we performed that time at Fun Factory together. And then after a month, I came back and performed together. So the other mother was confident he knows me, and then he didn't.
He lied, I think.
He even gave me an album and signed it and told me I'm talented just a month ago, and now you don't remember me. I was very, very disappointed. I didn't tell him, but I was. So what I did, I started coming every week, to perform with him. Yeah, until I was unforgettable. And now we are working together, but I'm like, it's not cool, eh? It's not cool. Bagamba weswa ku muntu ate nga omumanyi nga wamulabako mwayogera. So people think it's cool to just show someone that I don't know you even if you know me.
No, it's not about being cool, but for me, I want to vibe with your energies.
Now before you interrogate me, first vibe, eh?
Of course I smile.
So that in the conversation you be just, where have you been?
Like for the 14th event, I had walked out of the auditorium, and then when I was walking back in, I found someone smiling,
and they knew you.
He was smiling. So I'm like, okay. So I went to him, I was like, hi, you know me? He's like, yeah. But then he couldn't really pick on my exact name, so I told him the name, and then I noticed off Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is you. I thought you were taller. Then we kicked off the conversation from there.
Now the people come and they know your name, they know you, Lus, and they're sure they have had conversations with you, and you don't remember them, but you can't just say that. So I'd be like, what's up? Sit here, let's talk. So in that talk is when I remember.
Hey,
if I don't remember, I just get to know you. But
no, I really want to have genuine.
I
want to have genuine.
It's genuine.
Vibes.
It's also genuine.
I'm
genuinely happy to be known. I'm happy to be known. Except now I have to know you too, which is okay.
What word do you have for the listeners? What can you leave for them?
Man, be yourself, but on top of it, remember that yourself can be, bad sometimes. So be yourself. When we say be yourself, people think we mean that if you're a thief, just be a thief.
Keep stealing.
Yeah, no. Be yourself, but better yourself so that you can be more comfortable being yourself. When you work on yourself more, then you don't have to.
High five, finally. I've given up. Let me just high five you.
Yeah, be yourself, but focus on the transformations. They happen, constantly. So if you don't focus, you're going to lose a lot of development, self-development.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then most of us won't like you, and we shall talk about you.
Choka, I didn't want to end this podcast.
Hey, time is money.
The conversation is too good. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Lucy!
Kazim.
Lus is asking us to strive to do better. We are asking you to do better in all your areas of life. If you want to experience more of his poetry, do come to Atmosphere near Kaboja Primary School this Friday. We shall be celebrating Lus and the band's first birthday with a great lineup of performers. I can't say their names. If you don't know their names, just come through and see how great this guy does his things. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Hashtag with Nabuguzi. If you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtag with Nabuguzi in your podcast platform of choice and share it with your friends. Do not be selfish. Here, we share the knowledge. We don't want to be looked at as selfish people. Also, feel free to share what connected with you on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at Hashtag with Nabuguzi on Instagram and Facebook, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. We can also have conversations with you on our email. Our email is htnkpodcast@gmail.com. I really look forward to engaging with you, and happy end of the month. This is the last episode of March. I can't wait to engage more with you next month, and until then, remember to do better.